figure things out as games went on. Did you really see that come to the fore tonight with the way you handled the start and all of their runs?
Yeah, I mean that was a test on the road, Doug. Right? Especially, you're as much as you want to try to prepare them for the speed of the game at the start. Sometimes it's just so much energy in the building that you're going to have to withstand some of that sometimes. And I thought we did a really good job of climbing back into that. And then we got our feet under us a little bit, and I think from the second quarter on, I don't know the numbers, but our defense felt a heck of a lot better. Let me look here real quick. Yeah, I mean a little bit better. 32 in the first and 17 in the second. It's pretty good improvement, right? So, yeah, and again, it's searching for the right guys and the matchups and some of the actions that were giving us problems, searching for some different coverages and things. And I don't know, I thought our guys hung in there and took a lot of punches tonight and just stayed on their feet and kept on playing.
Eric Corrine, The Athletic. They're obviously didn't start the shooting the ball the way you wanted, and there was a stretch there in the second quarter where that continued, but you guys seemed to grind out stop after stop after stop. What does that say about sort of your team's focus and composure?
Yeah, I mean, again, for the most part, one of the themes at halftime was we're really creating great shots, right? For the most part, but we had to eliminate any possessions where they weren't great because we had the ability to create such good ones. There was no sense in going down and having empty possessions because again, I mean, you come down and take a quick one covered, they're off to the races and you're flying, pedaling back, trying to stop them in transition. So I thought we did a good job of creating shots, and I thought the guys stayed positive even though with the bad kind of the cold shooting. A lot of talk on the bench during the timeouts of keep shooting, we're open, keep passing, keep kicking, and they were positive even though they weren't making them, and then obviously we made a bunch of big ones.
Coach John Schumann, NBA.com. Kawhi's 9 assists were a career high. I think that speaks to what he was doing tonight, but also maybe his career as a playmaker and sort of, his development as a playmaker. What did you see tonight, and just sort of his development as a playmaker over the course of the season, and how that has come about?
Well, I mean, first of all, again, almost. Most of the time he makes the decision when he's got multiple guys on him. He makes the right decision. It's hit the open man, right? And that's, we keep stressing that in this series and in the last series too. When you've drawn two, you've done your job. You got to find the guy who's open. Our spacing and relocation and cutting have to be good when there's two on the ball. But we finally made some for him tonight. Right, he's kicking them out to guys that were making some in the second half. So, the other night I couldn't believe he only had one assist because it seemed like he was passing the whole game. All right, so we stepped in and made some for him tonight. And when you make them, they usually, that helps your assist numbers.
Nick, Scott Stinson, National Post. Fred was 7 for 9 from 3 and a plus 28. Did you what have you said to him over the stretch in the playoffs when he hasn't been shooting as well? And did you just, feel like this was always a possibility that this could happen?
I mean, it's you and I have talked a lot about. Hopefully, we regress to the mean a little bit, right? He was kind of due for one of these nights because we know he's a good shooter. I haven't said much to him, Scott. I think again, he went 1 for 12 the other night in that double overtime game. And I didn't even know it because I thought he played so great. He was in a must play good situation. Because Kyle fouled out and we went to double overtime. He played at least 16 straight minutes and he ran the team and played defense and he oozes confidence. He oozes the confidence that spreads to the other guys. And again, he just stepped into the shots that were there tonight and he was probably due to get hot in these playoffs. It's been probably a long time coming. Great game by him, though. Great game.
Reed Forgrave with CBS Sports. You said that shoot around this morning that Kawhi was looking better, looking more spry. When you consider the circumstances, is this series the very best you've ever seen from Kawhi?
Well, for me it is, but again, I'm like I'm like, when it's really different when you have a guy, right? When you're with him every day and you're witnessing it all. I certainly remember, he's been unbelievable in the playoffs with the Spurs as well. But you're not as close to it. Heck, you might not even have seen all the games or whatever. But again, I can only state that he's been really good, and it seems like he's. I don't know. It doesn't look like there's. He gets stronger as the fourth wears on. He's wants the ball and he wants to make the plays, and he seems to be making the right play for the most part. And you're almost shocked when he pulls up at 15 feet and it doesn't go in. I mean, he vaults up there and he has a good release on it. You think, well, there's two more, and it doesn't go in. You're like, oh man, what happened? But he's playing, and again, he's playing at both ends. He's rebounded. And again, it really gives the rest of the guys a lot of confidence when you got a guy playing like that.
Hey Nick, do you all that Fred's had going on this week for him? Do you know how much he slept in the last 4 days?
I do not. I don't. I don't check in with him or curfew or anything like that, Mike. But I mean, obviously he's had a lot going on, and I talked about it a little bit in the pregame. Even though Fred's a younger guy, you got to trust these guys that they're doing everything they can with their bodies and their nutrition and their rest and all that stuff to get themselves ready to play. And somehow, obviously, he has been, or he plays better on less sleep. I don't know. Whatever he's doing, he did the last couple of days, he needs to keep doing.
Jeff Zogate, USA Today. Nick, that's 3 in a row now for you in this series. I don't want to presume you think you have everything figured out, but what are the common threads that exist in these 3 games that maybe weren't there in the first 2?
Well, I've mentioned a lot of them, and I don't think anything changes. Listen, this is a great team we're playing, right? They are really good and deep and athletic and long and all kinds of stuff. This was a super hard win. Right, tonight, super hard, and we have to play with a tremendous amount of effort. Again, I think our keys are this: we got to play good offense, not turn it over and score the basketball. Because if you don't, they're getting what they want, which is downhill basketball in a hurry. If we can score it, if we can take care of it, and we can get our defense set up, for the most part, we get down and guard them and make the shots a lot tougher. We have to rebound the basketball. They're a great rebounding team. And then, again, I think we just got to keep. I don't know. I've already said it. We got to play every possession, like fight through every possession at both ends, and just keep on playing for 48.
Nick, Mark Schwartz, ESPN. I got 2 for you. First of all, Kawhi has held Giannis to 36% shooting in this series. When he scores that many points, sometimes those things go overlooked. How important was his presence at both ends tonight?
Yeah.
And secondly, how much did that load management that you instituted all year, how much is that bearing fruit right here tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I know coaches are like this a little bit, but I as impressive as his offense is, and it's impressive, I get more impressed when he's down there guarding and making plays and blocking shots and flying in for rebounds. And my favorite thing is when he just decides once or twice a game to just go take it from somebody and go the other way. Those are huge momentum plays, and that's impressive to me. Again, it's a great competitive spirit. And as far as the load management thing, I mean, listen, he's I don't know. He's just super competitive, man. He couldn't wait for the playoffs to get here, and I think he's played a lot of minutes and he's banged up, and he says everybody's banged up, but I want to play and I'm going to play and I'm ready to play, and again, give him a lot of credit for that.
Steve Ashburn, NBA.com. Yesterday, or last game particularly, there was a lot of talk about the number of uncontested looks that Milwaukee had missed. And I'm just wondering, given what we've seen across the series so far, how much is it bad timing and bum luck, and how much are even uncontested misses attributable to things your team is doing up until that point that shot's taken?
Well, we had some uncontested ones tonight. I'll bet you it's probably worse tonight. I thought there was a stretch of the game. I remember in one timeout saying, guys, we're not getting close enough to them to make a miss. And there was some where we switched and sat back and just gave them, guys like Brogdon and George Hill. We were guarding them, but we were from me to you away, and that's it's not they're going to make those. So I thought we start the fourth. I remember saying in the huddle, no more. Get up, man. We got to get up and make them bounce it, and rely on your help if they go by you. Again, I think your question leads to makes and misses, man. You come down and some guys make them and some guys miss them, and that determines a lot of the outcome. Shooting the ball in the basket is a major part of this game, as you know.
The nerves or desperation or game situation?
Well, I think it can be anything. I think it can be, if your defense is flying around a little bit and you got them hearing footsteps, or if you're played a lot of minutes. I don't know, maybe if it's a big, tall guy coming out at you and you aren't that big, there's a lot of things that affect the level of contest and those things going in or not.
Thanks very much, everyone.
All right, thank you.
We've been a resilient group all year. We just need to think about going and winning one game, go to Toronto and get that. Tonight, a little bit of a strange box score. Obviously, Van Fleet from the three-point line and them in general from the three-point line was huge impact on the game. They got to the free throw line more than us, and we couldn't get we needed a couple of rebounds there down the stretch that, I think when we look at the film, we'll feel like if we could have gotten a few more defensive rebounds from, the 5-4, 3-minute mark on, maybe the end result would have been different. But, we'll get ready, we'll get prepared, go to Toronto.
Coach Bud, Greg Matzik, WTMJ. You mentioned rebounding. You out-rebounded them on the night, but it seemed like some of their threes were long rebounds, a couple that glanced off the rim, especially late. From your view, were those hustle plays made by the Raptors or stuff you can't really do much about given the way the ball was coming off the rim?
Some of both, but, I think when Kawhi Leonard shoots a three from the three-point line and goes in and gets his own miss, that is a critical play that can't happen. The one with the shot clock violation or where it glanced off the rim, Gasol and Brooke are battling, and if it just takes a little slightly different bounce, Chris is going to get that. And, still a little uncertainty on exactly why they went to review and the order of things that occurred in that particular instance. But, that's a tough bounce. Others we got to get to, we got to get, find a way. All five guys got to participate.
Matt Velasquez, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, just continuing with those offensive rebounds, just how deflating can those plays be when you guys are trying to battle back?
Very.
Eric named The Athletic. Bud, I'm curious, with it, it's quite a scene to see blood running down Giannis's face on a TV screen. Just what do you think of his whistle tonight and kind of the way he's officiated?
Yeah, it just feels like he should be at the free throw line more. They have a couple of guys that are veterans. They're very crafty that seem to get there a lot. Lowry, when he drives, you got to be incredibly disciplined. He creates a lot of contact and is rewarded for it. Giannis, creates a lot of the same contact and doesn't seem to get the same whistle, get the same reward. But, I think the officials, they got a tough job. They do the best they can. We'd love for Giannis to get to the free throw line more, feel like he deserves it. But, that's, we're talking about the rebounding, the three-point line, those types of things. Those are the things that we got to focus on and get better.
Kane Pittman with the pick and roll. You did touch on the three-point defense. They obviously shoot pretty well tonight, and the corner three has been something that you guys have defended well all season. What did you see tonight from the three-point defense?
Well, I saw Van Fleet just have a monster night. Sometimes, I think a couple of them felt really deep. A couple of them felt very contested. I'm sure he had a couple of good open looks too. So to get to 7 out of 9 from the three-point line is just killer. So Kawhi step back three, when it's 85 or 82, 81, that's a tough shot. Credit to him for making it. Credit to Van Fleet for making them. Whoever else they sprinkled in a couple others that made them. But, Van Fleet really stands out at the three-point line, and then Kawhi making 5 is, if we can usually he's just making them off the dribble. So just got to be better.
Bud, Mark Schwartz, ESPN. This was Kawhi's all-time high with 9 assists, all of those on three-pointers. What did you see his most dramatic impact in the game tonight, both on the offensive end and again on the defensive end, messing with Giannis's ability to dominate the game?
Well, I think he's playing with the pass in a way that's helping his teammates, and you don't get 9 assists unless your teammates step up and make the shot. So, I don't know how many of those went to Van Fleet. I know one coming out of the halftime or ATO, to Lowry. So he's doing a nice job of playing with his teammates and sharing the ball. And as far as defensively, he's a good defender. I don't know. I think it's their whole group that's been good and effective.
Steve Ashburn, NBA.com. With 1:12 left, Giannis went out. Did he just need a blow at that point? He'd taken a little bit of a beating up till right then.
No, he twisted his ankle in the backcourt. He tried to, I think kind of get a steal or surprise. I think it was Leonard with the ball, and I think his foot just stepped on, whether it was Leonard or Lowry, whoever's foot it was, and he just looked like he was in a lot of pain and maybe couldn't move. And we had an offensive possession, just maybe get somebody out there could move, make a shot, and I think kind of worn off, or the adrenaline wore off, and he was able to go back in.
Coach Keith Jenkins from the Associated Press. You went with a different starting 5 tonight. Malcolm Brogdon got the start. What were you trying to do there with that strategy, and did you get what you were trying to get out of that?
Yeah, I thought Malcolm was very good overall, and I think it's a group that started 64, 65 games for us. So Malcolm has been the starter for the preponderance of the season, and so just felt like it was the time for that group to start again. And he did a lot of things well. Pleased with Malcolm.
Matt Velasquez, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Yeah, obviously that starting group did well and got off to good starts in the first and third quarters. But what did you think about the way that kind of changed your rotations and maybe how the bench handled tonight?
Yeah, the starters, a lot of positives there. We didn't get as much from our bench as we have at different times during the playoffs, and just Van Fleet alone. But Norman Powell hit some shots early. I thought when we were. We got off to the good start, and so their bench has played well. Our bench, we need to get a little bit more out of them. But as far as the subs, again, it's, Malcolm has started a ton of games this year, and so it was kind of like going back to, a lot of the routine and a lot of the subs and patterns that we've had all year.
Bud, Andrew Wagner, Forbes Sports. You guys are kind of in uncharted territory. You haven't had your back against the wall much this year. What are you seeing from your guys right now?
Yeah, I think, we talk about the character of the group and the toughness and competitiveness of the group. We're, it's first to 4. We got to go to Toronto and get a game, and I think the group will be ready. They'll fill their cup up and be ready to go.
Eric Name, The Athletic, but I'm curious, you guys come out, switch a little bit more, seem to really disrupt them in the first quarter, and then that second quarter you scored 2 points in 6.5 minutes. Just how big of a swing was that in the game that you don't go into the half with a bigger lead?
Yeah, no, we had a dry spell there where, I think we had a 10-point, different times 12-point lead maybe in the first quarter, and second quarter we just couldn't get anything to go. We'll look at the film. Sometimes it's, offense that needs to be better and improved, or we just maybe missed some good looks. It's something we'll review on film.
Bud, Nico obviously out of the starting lineup tonight, then only plays 9 minutes. He again couldn't get those shots to go. Where do you see him in the rotation, obviously for Game 6 and the rest of the series?
Yeah, we'll evaluate everything and see, how Nico fits when, he gives us great spacing, great shooting. If he can help us off the bench, then obviously we'll use him, and he can be very helpful to us. All right, thanks.
Kyle Caperness, TSN. You waited on the court to talk to Freddie after that performance. What do you say to him?
What a play. It's one thing where, people talk a lot and they say this or that, but, to come out with a performance like that on the road, it shows the mental toughness. It shows just how much of a professional he is. And it was an unbelievable performance by him. And he made some big shots for us, and he did his job tonight.
Michael Grange from Sportsnet. How would you describe kind of the balance you guys got from offensively, particularly in the first 3 quarters, and then just your ability to defend against Giannis and the Bucks in the half court, like those two elements of that win?
Say that again. What was the first part?
The first part was just the kind of balance you guys found offensively, particularly in the first three quarters, and then defensively, your ability to kind of defend the Bucks in the half court and keep the game in the half court.
I think we just, is offensively, it's just taking the right shots. It's taking the shots that are there, that are available. And we're still passing up some looks, I think. We shot 36%. We got some good looks. We were aggressive, got to the free throw line. And that's a key to us, our success tonight. With Giannis, is just trying to keep bodies in front of him. You can't stop him. I mean, he's unbelievable. He's most likely MVP of the league, all NBA, all defense. He's unbelievable. But as a basketball team, you have to throw bodies at him and try to just keep multiple hands, forearms, 6 eyes. Just try to keep individuals in front of him.
Josh Lewenberg, TSN. Kyle, you guys fell behind early. What wasn't going right early, and what changed midway through the first quarter?
We weren't aggressive, I think. I think we turned the ball over a little bit. I think they made some shots, and they were getting out in transition. Bledsoe really was pushing the tempo tonight and looking for himself, and he got going a little bit. But, one thing about it is we've been saying it the whole time is kind of just no highs, no lows, just stay in the course. And that's what we did tonight, just stayed the course.
Kyle, Dan Wicke with the Los Angeles Times. Kind of along those lines, you guys had a lot of changes happen before this season. Here you guys are now sitting here 1 win away from the NBA Finals. What does that feel like to you? Is it feel no different than Game 2, Game 3?
I mean, we just got to go out there and protect home court. That's what the goal is. Watch the film tomorrow. Continue to get better, learn. Nothing's going to be given to us. We got to go out there and play extremely hard. That's what that feels like.
Kyle, Mark Schwartz, ESPN. Early on, it looked like Kawhi was trying to get other people involved. He wound up with 9 assists, which is more than he's ever had in any game in his career. But at the end, he was a bulldozer.
Mm-hmm.
He was taking it over. Can you talk about the evolution of the game from Kawhi's perspective?
I think it's just they're throwing bodies at him early. They're sending 2 or 3 bodies at him and kind of tilting the floor and making sure guys are loaded on him. And he's making the right passes, and we made some shots for him tonight. And then third quarter, he's been doing it all playoffs. He went into ISO and get to your spot, and it was pretty impressive. The game he played tonight, 35, 9, and 7. It's a pretty good game. It's a pretty good game on the big stage on the road. Superstar.
Reed Forgrave, CBS Sports. Every time Giannis has the ball and he's driving, it's like you guys collapse 3 dudes on him, and yet they weren't getting an enormous amount of open threes. What is it about your defense that is, despite putting so many bodies on Giannis, still been able to limit the open shots?
Communication. Trying to get out, understanding rotations, understanding where the next pass is, and just playing hard. Sometimes it just takes, an extra effort to get out there. It takes, an extra 3 steps or an extra jump or this or that to just play hard. And I think that's the message that we've been, preaching, the last couple of games, is just play hard and just keep going and play extremely hard. It's not going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. But if it's not perfect, you pick up your teammate, drive for a loose ball, contest a shot, box out, and just play hard.
Kyle, Chuck Freeman from The Fan. You guys are down 0-2 in this series. To win 3 in a row like this in 5 days, that just doesn't happen every day. What was the turnaround? Can you explain what went into that? Because last Friday, you left this place and you're down 0-2, and things look bleak for you guys.
Just stay in the course. We never put our heads down. We never thought it was going to be we never thought it would be easy. We still don't think it's going to be easy. They protected their home court, and we went home and protected our home court, and then came back here and got a win tonight. And we understood, listen, this is the Eastern Conference Finals. It's never going to be easy. It's going to be tough. And you got, a team down there that's really, really talented, really, really good. But, we just go out there and play our game. And, you got opportunity to make adjustments on the fly, one day to kind of, adjust, prepare, recover. And it's been, it's been crazy, grueling, but it's been a fun process. It's been a fun process.
Kyle, Michael Grange from Sportsnet. You're a connoisseur of refereeing.
Of course.
What were you had 2 replay reviews in the final 40 seconds. Both went your way, but maybe walk me through that a little bit. What it's like to be on the floor when things are so pivotal.
Matt Devlin and Jack Armstrong, they always look out, so they tell us before, what's going on. And so the one possession, Matt was off of Brogdon. He said it's our ball. So, yeah, that was my referee connoisseuring. Thank you, guys.
Kane Pittman with the pick and roll. Brooke, in the fourth quarter there, they had 5 offensive rebounds, and it seemed you guys were putting together good defensive possessions, and that was the thing that was letting you guys down. How big of a factor was that, and how hard is that is that a deflating feeling when they kept coming up with the bounce?
Yeah, it was tough. Obviously we got to do a better job. It starts with me, and we just can't have that. Obviously it gives them new life, gives them momentum, and we definitely need to cut that out.
For either of you gentlemen, Andrew Wagner from Forbes Sports. This is kind of a position none of you have been in this year. You haven't lost 3 in a row, haven't had your backs against the wall. What's it like in that locker room after the game, and what's the mindset moving forward?
I think it's a similar mindset. We're just on to the next game. We're not thinking about winning 2 right now. Obviously, we just want to go out there and get game 6.
The three-point shooting's been obviously such an important part of your game all season. This series, you just haven't been able to hit the shots that you normally would. Are you guys still happy with the looks you're getting? Is the confidence still there to keep letting it fly? Only 31 attempts tonight is a low number for you guys.
The confidence is definitely still there. That's what Bud preaches every day. But you got to tip your hat to them. They've done a good job guarding the 3 through the series. We're arguably the best three-point shooting team in the league, and they've done a good job even limiting our attempts. So we got to figure out ways to get the ball moving and to, have open shots.
Malcolm, Mark Schwartz, ESPN. Kawhi affected the game in so many ways tonight, and you had a pretty good view of a lot of it. Can you talk about, number one, his ability to, run the offense through him, his ability to distribute, and his effect to the game on the defensive end?
Yeah, he's one of the most versatile players we have in the league. He's a great player. You just got to make him uncomfortable. Tonight he was able to get to his spots and affect the game on both sides. So we got to be able to limit him if we're going to win the next game.
Howie Magner, Milwaukee Magazine. Malcolm, the first thing Bud said when he came in here was about how resilient this team is. Where do you find that extra level of resilience now?
If we don't have it now, our season's done. So we've been resilient all year, and we're going to rely on each other and lean on each other as we've done all year, and go out and compete as hard as we can.
For either of you two, Toronto obviously had 2 big wins on the road there during the regular season. Didn't go to plan this last week, but what do you take from those wins early in the season, and is that something you can, lean on going in there and feeling confident you can extend the series?
Yeah, it's a great environment to play in. Their fans bring a lot of energy. I definitely think our team will be up for it. We're ready for the challenge, so we just have to obviously go out there and take care of business.
Brooke, just wondering on the one play with 2 minutes left where Leonard launched a 3 and then he wound up getting the rebound under the basket and Giannis fouling him. How deflating was that given the situation?
Yeah, it was tough. They had multiple offensive rebounds, and he obviously made a big play, to chase down his own 3, get there all the way on the baseline and make a play. And we just have to be better in those situations.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you, guys.
Let me text some PR later.
We don't see you till next year.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Howie. Take care, okay? See you on Monday, though. Don't worry.
What we got?
Just one more. I want
Steven, were you in the locker? Yeah. To be honest, talk.
Just finished, yeah.
Yeah.
In the locker room.
Okay.
Hey, Fred. Dan Wicke with the Los Angeles Times. Can you just kind of take us through, not necessarily hour by hour, but what your schedule has been like since this craziness started and how you've managed to stay standing up?
Yeah, as long as you promise this the last time I got to tell this story. All right. Yeah, so obviously, my girl has been pregnant for a while, and the due date was May 31st. So we knew that it would be close. We knew that it would be around this time, and my first daughter came 3 weeks early, so we were expecting it to be any day now, Monday morning. And I thought I'd have a nice day off at home in Toronto. I got the call that her water broke, and I started, rumbling around trying to find if I could get on a plane. So made it to Rockford at about 3 p.m. Spent the day at the hospital, and baby boy came Monday night at 9:30. So, doing through all that whole process, stay the night. If anybody has kids before, getting discharged is a whole nother adventure. Trying to leave the hospital, and so they were stuck up there for a while with the baby getting checked out, and I stayed Tuesday. Stayed in the morning, flew back, got to Toronto at 2 or 3. Try to take a little nap and headed to the arena for game 4. And, flew for game 4. Flew back here yesterday, and I took a car down to Rockford yesterday night, and they were still in the hospital. So I spent the night at the hospital last night, and we were fortunate enough to get discharged this morning. So drove down to Milwaukee this afternoon and took another nap, if that's what you call it, and, laced them up again here for game 5. So it's been a frantic week, but that's what makes all this stuff worth it.
Fred, Michael Grange from Sportsnet. So that's the formula. That's the key. 0 sleep.
Hey,
3
I
days?
guess 0 sleep, have a lot of babies, and go out there and let loose. No, but in the middle of all that stuff, you guys know it's been a rough playoff stretch shooting the ball for me. Everything else has been fine in my opinion, but just shooting the ball has been a little rough. And I still found time to get quick workouts in here and there. Whatever we left yesterday, I hadn't slept much, and I still got a workout in before we got on the team playing. So just keep trusting the work and trusting your craft, and knowing that at some point they're going to drop. And a lot of times how it works is they all come at once, and I think that's what you've seen. So just got to bottle it up and put some games together.
What would you say about tonight's game in terms of, it was almost like two different games. Like the first three quarters, you had Kawhi looked to really be, there was a lot of balance there offensively, and then it's nice to have him to pick it up in the fourth when things get tight.
Yeah, I think that they came out and punched hard and quick early, and we knew that that's what they were going to do. But, we just had to try to weather the storm and understand that it's a game of runs, and we've been battle-tested. We've been in tough games. Philly really tested us. Even Orlando made us work pretty hard for those wins. So we understand, how long a playoff game is, and you can work yourself back in. So I thought we did a good job just distributing the ball. Everybody was chipping in, and then fourth quarter, you know whose time it is for that. And Mark hit a crazy big three at the end after I think he was probably 0 for 5 at that point. A couple other guys made some big plays, but at the end of the day, to have a guy like that to close him out is what you need, and he understands that. We understand that, and we kind of shift, and that's what you've seen this year. We can win a lot of different ways, and you have to have a lot in your toolbox.
Alex Gary from your hometown Rockford paper. Thanks for being in the NBA so I can come to these games.
That's your question?
That's just a thank you. You're shooting 80% from three in Fred Jr.'s lifetime. So how do you keep that going, hopefully into next week?
Just keep bottling it up. Like I said, obviously it's turned around for me a little bit these last two games. I've gotten more, feels like I'm getting more better looks, more open looks, and as you make them, your teammates start to look for you more and more, and the game just kind of opens up all at once. So just staying confident, staying in there, ready to knock them down when I get the opportunity, and, just staying locked in. So I'm still not giving him all the credit in the world, but, he's probably helped me out a little bit.
Fred, Matt Cullen from CBC Radio Canada. Third year now on the team, and in each year your role has grown a little bit more. Now you're one win away from the NBA Finals. Just hearing that, what are some of the thoughts that come to mind?
Just to take advantage of the opportunity. I think that being tied up 2-2 to have a great opportunity here to come in here and try to steal one was on our minds. And obviously being one win away, going home, you just want to take advantage of the opportunity. It would be a very, very long summer, thinking about what could have been or what you could have done. And so we just got to go out there and have no regrets. And I think that we did a great job of that tonight, laying it all on the line, staying locked in, weathering those runs, and being able to bounce back. So like you said, one win away from the finals, it sounds pretty good to me. I'll take those chances. And, we got to go out there and try to take advantage of the opportunity.
Fred, Mark Schwartz, ESPN. Kawhi was a little bit of everything tonight. When you look at the tape, what kind of things will you look for and remember from his game in Game 5?
Yeah, I think I don't know his stats for the last 4 games, but I think tonight his 3-ball opened up a little bit. It just felt like he had a little more lift on his shot, and when he's shooting the 3 like that, he's unguardable. There's no chance for anybody, and I think that kind of opened the floor up for him. He had some big shots, and he was getting to his spots, and I think they doubled a little bit less. It just felt that way. Obviously, I haven't watched the film yet. I don't think they sent quite as much on the double. They were collapsing when he got in the paint, but he gave it to you in every which way. He rebounded. He made big defensive plays. He's guarding Giannis at the end of the game. He's getting rebounds. He's getting steals and making big free throws. And he kicked a couple out that were big too. So anytime he chooses to get the rest of us involved, it's going to bode well for our offense. And the rest of us got to be ready to step up and knock him down. Thanks very much, everybody. Thank you.
because like he gets so fussy sometimes where I'm just like, dude, you gotta. Yeah, like most of the time he's really chill, but then he gets really fussy and it's like, all right, relax.
I have to drive all the way to Chicago today.
Let's caravan. See your wink. You have a good wink?
No. He would have been like,
No, I don't.
he would have been like, oh my god, is she seizing?
Oh, it can't be that bad.
No, I would have been like,
You gotta put like your head in and do like a little.
I can't do it on demand. Not good. I don't even know what I went with my right or my. I think it's more natural with my left.
I can do right, but it just doesn't feel right.
Do you wink at chicks off?
No, I'm too much of a rat.
No, he said just look hard. Sad days.
I'll go home and practice my wink.
Okay. Oh God. Well, damn.
Oh, did he take a minute to get on the bus or something? Just go home. If he's still out there, just quickly run out there. Be like, hey, and then come back in.
I'm afraid Barry, someone's gonna be out there. Just blocks him. Hey!
Well, he'll be back here on Monday, so.
Yeah, hopefully. Then I can say something.
I don't know. The way it's looking right now, the series might be over, so I hope not.
I had to do that with during like market basketball. One of the assistant coaches from Villanova. So we know Jay. The one guy he also recruited was Mike Nardi.
Who was it?
Mike Nardi. They always talk about that. It's like, tell him. You know me. So I saw him 3 times like before the game started, and I was like, nope. Okay. And then after the game, he was on the phone.
I feel like it would just be weird to just go home and be like, hey, my dad knows you.
I know.
I feel like it'd be kind
So
of
I was like, hey, Coach Hill told me to say hi. And he was like, oh yeah. He's like, who are you? Blah, blah, blah. So I told him. And it like wasn't weird. And he was like, oh yeah, like blah, blah, like whatever. They all go down the shore and stuff. So I was like, cool.
sweet.
Yeah. But I was like, he said hi.
Josh Lewenberg, TSN. Kawhi, you guys fell behind early. What weren't you doing well in the first half of that first quarter, and what changed from there?
They got out in transition, got some easy looks, getting to the rim, fouled a little bit too much, and, ended up giving them a 32-point quarter. And we were able to, stay locked in and engaged into the game, into our game plan, and ended up having a better defensive second quarter.
Kawhi, Mark Schwartz, ESPN. Surprised some people in here that you had a career high with 9 assists. We would think you'd have 9 assists in your sleep. Can you talk about your development as a playmaker and what you were able to do on that side of the ball tonight?
Just got to give credit to my teammates. They knocked down shots tonight when I gave it to them. And, I'm not a guy that really controls the ball the whole game. Pretty much could play off the ball with the ball in my hand and just trying to give other people opportunities to, shine and just not trying to just be like a dominant ball player.
Kawhi, Dan Wicke with the Los Angeles Times. All series, Milwaukee has struggled to find ways to score in the half court. What has gone so well for you guys defensively when it's not been in transition, and how have you guys been able to kind of keep them bottled up?
Just being ourselves. We take pride in, the matchups that presents us. We want to be a good defensive team. That's what we look at in film, and everybody, comments or has something to say that's knowledgeable to try to make our defense better. And, we go into the game and try to execute it as best as we can.
Kawhi, Michael Grange from Sportsnet. Fred was here and he was just talking about how they know what time it is when it's the fourth quarter type deal, and you had 15, I think, in the fourth. How does your mind change or shift in the fourth quarter of a close game?
I pretty much try to stay with a consistent mindset throughout the whole game. Just trying to read the defense throughout the entire game, see what's working. And like you said, you told me tonight, go get it. And, I'm not afraid of the moment. I enjoy it. And, this was what I work out for in the summer. So you just got to go out and shoot the ball, I guess. That's my mindset, try to get to a spot, help my team win the game. Just trying to win, either if it's me scoring points or getting my teammates wide open look. Just out there trying to win. It just not really matter about me scoring. It's just about being aggressive and don't shy away from anything.
Kawhi, Michael Lee with The Athletic. We can say, but just with the collective experience of this group and the fact that you have guys who've been at this moment, been on this stage, and just how that kind of helped your poise down the stretch.
Yeah, experience helps a lot. Just from my input, I've been here before. I've been to the finals, and it's pretty much nothing new that I'm seeing out there. And you just got to have fun with it and enjoy it. Like I told him tonight, we were down 10. I told him to enjoy the moment and embrace it and just have fun and love it. And, this is why we're here.
Kawhi, Matt Cullen from CBC Radio Canada. When you came to Toronto, you thought this team had the possibility to be a championship team. Now you're one win away from getting back to the finals. It's been a few years for you. What's going through your mind, again, to have that opportunity to be amongst the best, to play for a championship with one win now?
It's a great opportunity. Like I said, this is what you work out for in the summer, is to win basketball games. Same mindset I've been having throughout the playoffs. Just, come in, have fun, try to execute as best as I can, and play confident. And whatever happens after that is what happens. And I know that I put the work in. I can live with the results because I'm having fun and I'm putting my all out on the floor.
Kawhi, Mike Gander from the Toronto Sun. How would you describe the level of defense you and your teammates are playing right now?
I'm just living in the moment. That's for you guys to try to describe and make fun out of. And You know, I'm in the moment right now. I don't know.
Hey, Daniel.